Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're here, you want to get smart, fast, no fluff, just the core knowledge.
That's the plan.
Okay, so today we're jumping into the education system in Tamil Nadu, India. It's a state that, well, it often comes up because of its high literacy rates.
It really does stand out, yeah.
We got some interesting material on this, and our mission today is basically to figure out what's driving their success in education. What initiatives do they have going on?
Right. And the documents, they make it clear right off the bat. Tamil Nadu sees education as absolutely fundamental. It's the bedrock, they say, for their social and economic progress.
The bedrock. Okay, that's a strong statement.
It is.
So it's not just like a nice thing to have, it's foundational. How does that actually, play out on the ground?
Well, it suggests that this isn't just talk. This core belief, it likely shapes actual policy, how they allocate money, that sort of thing. It points to a real long-term view.
Investing in people for the future.
Precisely. Human capital is key in their view.
And you can see it in the numbers, can't you? The material points out Tamil Nadu has one of the highest literacy rates in India. That's pretty remarkable for such a big, diverse country.
It really is quite an achievement.
But it's not just about getting everyone to read and write, is it? The document also talks about a constant push for quality education at all levels.
Yeah, that's crucial. Access is one thing, but they're focused on quality too.
How do they keep that up? Sustaining quality sounds, well, hard.
It implies they've got systems,
Hmm.
teacher training, updating what's taught, ways to actually measure if kids are learning. It's not just building schools, it's about what happens inside them.
Okay, now this next part really caught my eye. To tackle socioeconomic barriers, especially for poorer kids, Tamil Nadu started the midday meal scheme, and they were the first.
The very first state in India.
Yeah.
Yes, that's incredibly significant.
What was the thinking behind that? It seems like a massive undertaking, especially back then.
What's really insightful there is how early they connected the dots. They saw that hunger, basic needs, directly impact a child's ability to even be in school, let alone learn.
Right, you can't learn if you're hungry.
Exactly. And doing this decades before many others, it shows a really deep understanding of what's needed for education to actually work in society. Makes you wonder about the long-term effects.
Absolutely. It feels like a cornerstone policy, and it seems they didn't stop there. The material lists loads of free stuff for government school kids, uniforms, books, even bikes and laptops.
Yeah, the list is quite extensive.
That's a really holistic way to make sure everyone has a chance, isn't it?
It is. It shows they're thinking about multiple hurdles, not just books, but transport, digital access now too.
Yeah.
It's a strategy to try and level that playing field.
So moving beyond schools, what about higher education? Tamil Nadu seems like a real hub.
Oh, definitely.
The documents mention huge names: IIT Madras, Anna University, University of Madras, VIT.
Yeah, top-tier institutions, absolutely. Known across India and, frankly, internationally, too.
How does having all those premier universities in one state change things? Does it lift the whole system?
I think it does. It creates this vibrant atmosphere, a concentration of talent, research, innovation. It attracts smart people, pushes academic standards higher, and feeds into a skilled workforce.
A ripple effect, maybe?
Sort of, yeah. It likely raises aspirations across the board, affects the quality expectation everywhere else.
And it's not just those big names, right? The info also mentioned lots of other colleges: arts, science, engineering, medicine, polytechnics.
A very wide range, yes.
So lots of different pathways available.
It points to a really well-developed higher education setup, catering to all sorts of interests and career goals, so students have options right there in the state.
Okay, another interesting angle: vocational training. The documents highlight that Tamil Nadu puts a real emphasis on this,
Very practical.
equipping students with job-ready skills for different industries. That seems smart.
It is. It's about recognizing that practical skills matter for getting jobs, for economic growth. It bridges that gap, between just academic learning and what the job market actually needs.
Creates a more adaptable workforce.
Exactly. Skilled and adaptable.
Yeah, we have to talk about tech. It's everywhere. How's Tamil Nadu using digital tools in education? The material mentions things like EMS.
Right. The Educational Management Information System.
Okay, so like a data system.
Yeah.
And also education TV.
Yes. The goal seems to be using these platforms for, well, consistent and quality education, reaching everyone.
How big a deal is this digital push, do you think?
Well, using something like EMS suggests they're serious about data, using data for planning, allocating resources better.
Makes sense.
And education TV, that can really extend the reach of good teaching, maybe to remote areas or, schools are disrupted for some reason. It's about using tech to boost access and quality.
It really paints a picture of a system that's constantly trying to improve, not standing still.
Definitely not.
The info also notes ongoing investment, building schools, training teachers, improving the curriculum.
Yes, that continuous investment is key. It shows it's a long-term priority. Keeping the curriculum relevant, making sure teachers are supported, having decent buildings, it's all fundamental.
So if we pull back and look at the big picture, it comes back to that core goal mentioned in the document, right? Equal and high quality education for all.
That seems to be the driving force, yes, equity and quality. That ambition probably fuels all these specific programs we've been talking about. It's like their North Star.
And does it work? The material suggests it does, pointing to progress in female education, literacy in rural areas, developing the state's overall human resources.
And what's interesting is how these things connect. You take the midday meal scheme, maybe, that helps keep more girls in school,
Right.
which boosts female literacy, which
Yeah.
strengthens the workforce down the line. It can create a kind of positive cycle.
A virtuous cycle, yeah. Okay, so wrapping this up, our deep dive shows Tamil Nadu's educational strength isn't down to just one magic bullet.
No, definitely not.
It seems built on this really long-term belief in education's power for social and economic good.
A deep commitment.
And they've used a whole range of strategies. Social support, like the meal scheme, building strong universities, focusing on quality, teacher training, and now bringing in technology, too.
That sums it up well. It's a multifaceted approach, consistently applied over time.
Which brings us to a final thought for everyone listening. When you see how early Tamil Nadu adopted something like the midday meal scheme and the impact it had, what lessons can other places learn from that kind of long-term vision? And thinking beyond just government programs, what other, maybe deeper societal values do you think really help drive educational progress in a region? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.